in the loading screen before he got back from TwitchCon. If you remember, I'm just saying, we have been discussing this very heatedly, if that's a real word, about Eric Virgin. Eric Virgin was 10 out. Hold on, Bidet. Hold on, slide in. Eric is better.
Oh my god.
No, this is big for me. Yeah, 20 out of 10. All right, we're having a glaze off. I don't want to get
fired.
I can see that message. That's just right there.
Right, you're not going to get fired. I got you.
Yeah, right. You can say
Oh my
whatever
God.
you want.
We outnumber him.
Yeah.
With all four hands, we could grab his whole neck.
We
Wait.
might need an extra hand though.
Dude. Okay.
I'm coming back to this man catching not even strays at this point, bro. You're a target in PD.
You've definitely missed it. I mean, the whole chat has just said that they prefer Eric Virgin's song over yours. I mean, we've got it in writing.
Yeah, that is true. Chat.
You mean everyone who is now Skirt has become the ultimate villain after dog napping. Of course they're gonna.
Hey man, don't take dogs. Would Eric Yellowhand do that?
He literally drop kicked Barry, but sure.
Has he ever done anything to a dog that did deserve it?
What is going on here? Yes. All right, we're getting people trickled in. Hello, gamers. Howdy, as people scurry on. We will say, because we're going to start doing this for the future, for people who obviously can't make it, that these town halls will be recorded. So if you don't want to hear yourself, then you don't need to speak and we can just respond. But at least we want to let you all know for quality assurance. So please submit feedback.
And training purposes.
Yes, and training purposes. Again, this is for people who miss it, and instead of us needing to babysit situations down the line, it'll now be posted. We'll probably make an extra little thing of town hall recordings, so that way you can go back and hear it if you missed it. Because especially today, this is going to be a pivotal shift in the RP space. So
We're blowing up Sandy. Like we
What?
decided today it's happening. When you fly back in, half the map is gone.
Everything's just deleted from this point out.
Yeah. I'm wiping the database. Fresh start.
all right, wait a minute or two. We're good. Incredible. We're just getting slandered already. So if you want to see what we're covering, we're going to try and keep this one a lot more minimal. We're pushing for just an hour. Obviously, the last couple have either went 2+, but that's just because a lot more has happened. But this one is a much more constricted and specific town hall that we're going over, based off of much more new faces that have been coming in and things that we obviously, the city's going to constantly be adjusting over time to adapt to the climate and just how stuff goes. So we want to make sure that everyone's on the same page and making sure we maintain the vision that we're trying to accomplish here as a community. With that said, please, which Epic do you want to share your screen when we get to the rules, or do we want everyone to just look at them themselves?
I can share.
Okay,
It's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
So, again, the topic's right above where we are. If y'all just want to see what we're covering, we're going to try and keep things as close to around 10 minutes as possible per topic, unless something is more important. But with that said, welcome to middle of the month town hall number 4. We usually try to do these once at the end, but we felt this one was more important to adjust early. So welcome in, everyone. A lot of new faces. We're happy to see you all. Firstly, let's give a clap in chat to our 2 new official staff members, which obviously they said, but we're now fully introducing, which is ChaoticCutie and rhinosnax. Can we get some claps here? Introduce yourselves. Chaotic, you can go first.
Wait, what?
Thank you. Rye.
Right.
That was it. We're moving. That was it.
We have had to sedate Chaotic before this town hall. So Chaotic has been sedated.
We brought
Bam.
Chaotic. We wanted on for a while. We really love their RP style. We feel they match our vision overall on what we're trying to do. Some of y'all may already know them from the temporary judge for our first trial and for Crow, the one who is going to call you poor multiple times per interaction.
Yes.
And of course, rhinosnax, our lovely Benny, and now Ma Gambino. So.
I
And
thought
of
you were
course, other various
introducing a
things.
third new staff member for a second. I was like,
Yes.
we don't have anyone called Ma on the
I was
team.
looking around. I'm like, wait a minute. There's another one? Hold on.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Another one.
So-
What are we, DJ Khaled with staff members?
Yes.
And showing them the ropes, that way more of you all can be assisted per tickets and shenanigans and situations. So welcome aboard. Thank you all. and we're lucky to have them with us. Now, again, this is a very important one because this is where the pivotal shift of RP is going to maintain quality going forward, as well as a couple of additional things, but that's going to be the big one of it. So without further ado, we'll start with the simple thing as we go down the list, which is, for those who have not already, please get with us. Our housing script is being updated, and we've already went through the process of shifting over to a couple of homes, but if your house has not, please get with us. And that way we can do that. We're trying to get those going as soon as possible so we can get rid of the old script, because the new one just works better for the most part and is more maintainable. Anything to add there, young Apple?
Yeah, hi. Epic lead developer of. Okay, that's a little too formal. Okay, no. Yeah, we are changing the housing script over. Since we got the original one in, I hated it because I realized how problematic it was. You can also just go into people's houses, rob their stashes. The storm rams on doors don't work. Sometimes you log out and your door goes unlocked. It's really terrible. I think it's a ticking time bomb, and so I proposed a while ago that we prepare for a major swap. The problem is that we can't just swap out without removing people's homes. So what I've done is I've brought in the new housing system on top of the current one so we can swap people over before we remove the current system. So the cutoff time I'm thinking is probably going to be November 1st, November 15th on when we remove the old system. So if you haven't come to me or any other member of staff to get your house swapped over to the new system, by that time, your house is going to be removed. I'm not saying you don't own it, but it's going to be unlocked, your garage won't work, and anything in your stash is going to be lost as well. As part of this, you might notice that we are no longer selling islands. We think islands in the long run are going to be a detriment to the city in terms of optimization, and also we just don't feel the quality of what you get with an island just really matches our vision. So we're not selling islands anymore, but for anyone that does have an island, I've converted it all over to a map add-on, which we will add in with November, so that when we do remove houses, you won't lose your island. So anyone who's got an island currently will keep their island, but you can no longer buy those, and we've taken down the bundle too. But yeah, it's really easy to have your house switched over. I need to show staff how to do it, but reach out to us, we'll get around to you. But everybody needs to have their house changed over before I remove the old script. So please help us help you. And yeah, we'll give like a ping to warn people ahead of time.
Yeah,
if
like I
they
said, we've
haven't.
already started the process. We've already got a few people mixed over, so that way we can get any bugs out of the way and see the player's perspective, as well as with this comes, and it's not in yet, but I figure we go ahead and announce, which we showed before. We showed some very luxurious apartments last time, but we're going to go a slightly different direction based on recent events where Uwu has been removed. So we actually found some apartments that are near where that like little boat dock is, and we're really excited. So new housing will be coming in soon. It's how many? 22 rooms?
22 houses, yeah. People have wanted new housing for a while. These houses are really, really nice looking, and they're all in like a complex. So it's just opposite where the boating place is, if you know where you go to buy boats. So it's got a great view, and it's really, really fancy. So yeah, 22 houses coming
Yeah,
November.
so it's like studio apartments. They all have the same interior, but it's we want, anytime we bring in new housing, we want it to be much more community compact developed, and we think it could breed a lot of little fun things of people obviously living within one building together. So that'll be next up. And then, of course, the ones we showed last time will still be coming in much later down the line. They are a little more luxurious, but there's a lot less. So we just want to make sure we're maintaining as new players come in to potentially have a place for their characters to stay. So, all right. Anything else? Our new members before we move on to the next topic. All right. Great. Incredible. So, and now this is where things take a shift, a lot more of a serious tone. We do not want to sound aggressive or rude or anything by any means. It's just, as more players come and go, rules need to be adjusted or much more clarified. And that's something we're actively trying to maintain and do better ourselves, as well as the quality of RP going forward. Things that we see that just feel a little low or just like, not really what we want to witness. So we're trying to maintain and do better ourselves and then clarify that through our rules, which we are actively updating. So next up will be the first big thing, and that is ticketing.
Well, hold on. Well, just real quick before you
Okay.
do that, because it's quite a serious topic. Can I run a
Yes.
mid-roll ad?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, perfect. Just kind of cushion the blow here. Just want to let you guys know about the shop. Just plug that real quick.
Incredible.
Just gotta do that. The new
Yeah.
Polar RP shop. We do have new 101s in. People have been asking for a while. 2 of them are already gone, but there are 4. The one that was a drift car has now been changed to a normal car. If you haven't checked them out, we got more coming. Most likely tomorrow. People have been begging us for this. It's actually finally in. Thought I'd
Yeah,
just
so and the new ones after this
yeah.
are going to be
Just
even
had
more
to plug that.
wowzers. We'll say that. So if these aren't tickling your
Yeah.
butt cheeks just yet, the new ones coming in hopefully tomorrow probably will.
Before we move on as well, because I don't see it in the topics now. I don't know if it got removed, but the referral system we were gonna talk about too.
Yeah, which I mean,
Yeah,
mid-roll
you want to
ad, go
go?
for it. Yep.
All right. So a lot of people still don't know about this. I want to make a big deal about this because it's very, very cool. You have coins in the top right of the shop now. Even if you're not spending money in the city, there is a way where you can basically get. If I go to the referral rewards tab here, this bad boy right here was intended to be a one of one. We made it completely free through the referral system. When you come into the city, if you click your profile in the top right of the shop and click referral, you have a code. If someone enters that code, you get, I think it's 10 coins and they get 5. And additionally, you may have seen a pop-up in the top right when you're playing that says you earned a coin. Every hour you're in the city, you'll gain a coin as well. So you don't need to spend any money in the city, but if you haven't checked out the shop, you can get some pretty cool stuff just by playing in the city and also recommending people to the city because is that Ruby Fontaine? Okay. Yeah, just by playing in the city you can get these referral coins, and by getting other people to join the city, you get coins and they get coins, so everyone gets rewarded. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, especially if you're a streamer, then go and do that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
yeah.
these items will also be switched out and such as well. We
Yeah, we
just
got
put in
some
a
cool
couple of like
ideas.
goofy things for seasonal stuff, which is this kind of fitting the whole ridiculous October stuff. So we'll be swapping those out down the line as well. So it's not just going to be these same 3 items. Just a heads
Yeah,
up.
we did put a lot of work into this, so hopefully everyone enjoys it. But that's it for my mid-roll edge. You can get back to the video now.
All right, great. So, shift pivot, and this is a big one, especially as more streamers are coming into the space, which is obviously great for extra eyes on the city, which is also great for people being able to see different perspectives. However, this has led to a massive influx in stream sniping, meta gaming, a lot of situations, and people in the city are feeling this a lot more often as people are getting knowledge that their characters have definitely not learned or like heard over in game, and it needs to be addressed and it needs to go away as immediately as possible. But with coming with this is also a big thing too, and we understand because we also used to be on this side of the coin to where we didn't really care to ticket if we felt people were doing these things. We would just kind of ignore it, whatever. It's not really hurting me. Keep it moving. However, it's doing a lot more harm than good by ignoring the situation. Um, Luckily, people are starting to do it more, but we really need streamers. If you are streaming, like, we do not want your scenes or your interactions, um, just going down the drain because somebody is blatantly doing it, or even worse, if they end up shouting OOC on some shenanigans. Like, we need to make sure these people are warned, punished, whatever the consequence is. So please start coming to us. I know it's work. I know you don't want to be a little tattletale or feel like that's the case. But it is important, and to maintain quality of RP, it's important for people to follow the rules and not, break immersion, not break character, not straight up fail RP, OOC, etc. So we've seen it a lot recently, and it becomes like normal once people see it and think they can do it, and we don't want to get to that point. So we're trying to nip it in the bud now, and just make sure it doesn't happen going forward. So anyone want to chime in?
Yes. I got asses to pound.
All right.
So going forward, let me make it clear. When I say the word "you" here, I am using a broad term. I do not I'm not addressing anyone in particular. It's just my overall the way I address stuff. So basically, what I will open with is saying this, and this is not just OOC and Meta Gaming. If somebody commits a rule break, and even we don't feel it warrants to be warned, that is one thing. If you have 3, 4, 5 people ticketing you, I will make it very clear so that we're all on the same page. You are not more important than 5 people if they have proof of a rule break. I would rather you leave the city than 5 people leave the city, and that's where I'm at with tickets. I am not supposed to do staff work. My job in the city is to do dev stuff and keep the city running. If I've got to ticket someone, it's because I'm getting a lot of reports and it's getting out of hand. It is getting to the point now where we have a serious issue on our hand. We weren't really enforcing these rules when the city launched because we didn't think we needed to. A lot of the stuff we had in place in the city at launch was to prevent rule breaks, and a lot of it we didn't need. But sadly, there is cases where we feel our kindness has been taken advantage of, and because of that, we need to take action now, because once this stuff starts to happen, it's a slippery slope that gets worse and worse and worse. Now, just on the subject of rule breaks in general, in our eyes, the people in the wrong are not just the people committing the rule breaks. This goes for streamers especially. If you see anybody committing a rule break, friend or not, intentional or not, you need to tell us. Because even if we decide it doesn't warrant a warning, we will keep our eye on it. Because the utmost priority to us is preserving the integrity of people's experience here, especially streamers. Streamers have a lot riding on what they're doing. A lot of them build up their streams and their big arcs that they're doing, and somebody going out of their way to ruin it, even if it's unintentional, it can just be horrible. That's someone's job, and that might be what they had scheduled for that day. So, basically, in a nutshell, if we see people breaking rules now, the issue, if it was Frost, for example, who had just got metagamed, that is now my issue. I'm going to start treating his issue like my issue. And so will Fav, Chaotic, Rhino, or anybody else on the staff team. I know it sounds harsh, but we really need to get it across that this will not fly here. We have been extremely kind to people because we understand that things happen, but we've also come from spaces where this stuff is allowed to happen, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. This city is called polar, which means the polar opposite of what we've experienced, and that is not going to change. We will not let that build here. If you are someone who has spent $0 versus $200, you will get thrown out the door just the same if you are constantly committing rule breaks. It does not matter if you're a VIP in a streamer's chat that plays here, or vice versa. I'm sorry if this sounds harsh, but ultimately you need to be cruel to be kind. We genuinely care about the people that come in here, and we are not going to stand for any form of rule break. And it really sucks that we have to be this, blunt about it, but we genuinely have to. And I will go a step further and tell you this, that if I am watching a streamer play in our city, and I see you in the streamer's chat say that you were going to metagame, even if you mean it as a joke, I can't tell that. And I need to report that to staff, and vice versa. If any of our staff see anybody committing a rule break, even if it's through a streamer's chat, and this extends, by the way, to any form of hate speech or making someone feel unsafe, if we see any of that transpire, you're a representation of this community. We will not stand for a violation of that. Ultimately, we will not. We don't want to have to police people on this stuff, but it is seriously getting out of hand, guys. And now is the time for us to do something about it.
Yeah, a big thing, real quick. Go ahead and swap to the rules on your screen, just to be ready. A big thing to transpire from that is because us, as staff/admin, we're also players in our own city. We're not sitting on the back end just babysitting streams and players. We're playing. We're trying to make sure we're maintaining the same integrity and quality as we're wanting out of everyone else. We are not higher than you all. We are holding ourselves accountable every day. I'm making sure we're being more transparent with that to you all if we feel admin or staff are slipping up, both in and out of city. And it's happened quite a lot of times. There's been a lot of private conversations that we've gotten on each other's cases about, and that interaction felt a little low quality for ourselves for like stuff we've done. And we've chewed each other out for it. Obviously, it's been private, but at least we want to be clear with you all. We are not above you. We want to make sure we're also a massive reflection and representation of the city we're running. And yes, there's a lot of wacky, zany things that are going on with shenanigan time travel and, a bunch of animals attacks and such. Like, we get it. It's very kooky. It's very, wild. But at the end of the day, it's the way we handle these situations and the way our characters are presented to us, still need to have some form of good interaction, good quality, and maintaining the rules are going to be key to that. So, like I said, this is going to be just more of a foot down because we can't really babysit people because we're also in our own city playing. So we don't get to catch everything. And just kind of reverting this back to, this is why ticketing is so important, because we're not there to see what's happening in other people's eyes. We're not there to hear people, going OOC or having these conversations or whatever the case. So we need to be informed, or else this is going to fester with other players. They're not going to say anything, so it just builds up, and then boom, the volcano erupts. Now 8 people are angry and leaving, or whatever the case, because one person keeps doing all these things and nothing's happening.
Yeah, so one thing I want to talk about as well, on the sake of rule break, is our rules, which we'll dive a little more into later, but just on the subject of us putting our foot down. We previously in our rule system had the structure of, if you commit a violation in city, we'll first give you a warning and then we'll start deducting funds from your character. This was a bad idea. It was actually my idea, and I'll take the rap for that. This was just outright a bad idea, badly designed, because ultimately it's not getting the message across. My goal at the time was hit people where it hurts, which is in city, but that's clearly not just working, and so we're updating our rules. And this is for any infraction now. So from now on, any infraction, you can receive up to 3 warnings in city. I'll show you what they look like, just so that we're all aware and you're not styled if this were to happen. So basically, if you have to be warned in city, you will be warned. You will have to hold the spacebar to dismiss the warning so that you are very well aware that you've received it. Basically, in a nutshell, you get up to 3 of these in Polar. If you get 3 of these warnings and you still cannot correct what we're seeing as a rule break, that is where we need to take things up a notch. Then we go into temporary bans. Straight up from 3 warnings, you will get a 24-hour ban from the city. If you still cannot correct the rule breaks you are doing, it will go to a 3-day ban. There is no warnings in between this at this point. The 3 warnings should be more than enough, and trust me, we understand that accidents happen. Believe me, this is not our first rodeo. We know what's an accidental rule break and what is deliberate. We are not going to punish people if we can clearly see it was an accident. If we have to just let someone know, hey, maybe be careful next time, we'll do that. We know what's an accident. We will punish at our discretion. So if after 3 warnings you still cannot stop breaking rules, it will go to a 24-hour ban. After that, a 3-day ban. After that, that is a 7-day ban. This is the final strike. If you commit another rule break past this point, it is a permanent ban from the city. We are not messing around here. We have already permanently banned someone from this city. It is not a game. Our utmost priority is protecting players here. We do not want to see a mass evacuation of players because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. And that's why it is crucial that everybody is ticketing rule breaks. We take it very seriously, to the extension of staff. If you see a scene in which a staff member breaks the rules, obviously we can't just outright permanently ban staff members for obvious reasons, but we take that seriously. We have chewed each other out on stuff before. It is not uncommon. We will keep it running very, very smoothly for everyone, no matter what. And yeah, like Farf pointed out, these are not character punishments. This is a user punishment. If you break a rule on one character, you cannot just simply swap to another character and veto that punishment. This is on your account in the server. So I know it's harsh, and I'm sorry that we have to go over it so harshly, but I cannot stress enough that we are not taking any more flack with this. This is ultimately where stuff stops.
Yeah, it's like I said, which we tried to elaborate early, not trying to be aggressive or sound rude or make sure nobody's feeling called out, but it is a case of, if you feel like this is leaning to you, then maybe that's just a sign of do something different with whatever it is that y'all may be doing.
Yeah,
Luckily,
yeah.
and to also further clarify, the issues we're having here, I would much rather have than stuff that we've dealt with in the past. People metagaming in OOC is like the bare bones of I'm fine with this being the extent of our issues, because these can be adjusted and there's way worse things that a community could be fostering. So overall, this has still been an amazing circle of people that have come together, and the RP's been great. A lot of new faces, all the recommendations have been great. So please don't feel personally attacked by any of this. It's to make sure we're upholding ourselves as well as making sure the city is upholding these standards. So just to once again reiterate that.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point about like if you feel called out by the rules, they're probably going to affect you. And as an extension of that, what I will say is if you are someone who knows for a fact you do not commit rule breaks, you have nothing to worry about. Like I said, we will punish people at discretion. I quite frankly do not care if I see in a ticket someone explaining what they think happened with the scene. If I receive a video showing what happened, it is at my discretion and staff's whether we think that was an intentional rule break or not. And even if not, we might hand out a warning regardless. But ultimately, we know, guys, that it's just if there's anything to take away is that we know when a rule has been broken, and we will act on it to preserve the integrity of players in the city.
Feel free, anybody else, if there's things to chime in on before we move on, because like I said, this is a pretty big one. So
Yeah, if any staff wanna.
Make anyone feel some type of way or feel called out. It's literally just growing pains and making sure the city's all going into the right direction. That's all this is.
Yeah.
Also,
it's just
check your
yeah.
DMs, Epic.
Yeah, I did see that. I'll get
Okay,
into
thank
that later on. Yeah.
No, after that.
Oh, yeah, I will.
And yes, Chaotic is our unofficial HR department, so good luck if you have to deal with the
Yeah.
ticket with him.
if you want to, for Kimchi, what you just said, I mean, we've also discussed, fall offs in terms of like the minor warnings, essentially, or just the base ones. We'll kind of go over that a little further. Right now, we feel what we have in place is definitely like more than enough to make sure people correct their mistakes. And even again, as another important thing that we keep saying is it is also staff's discretion of if we felt this was like intentional rule breaking, or if the player felt like it was helping extend the scene, but just kind of in a whatever way. Like it's all case by case. Every situation will be different, but we are making sure we place ourselves into people's shoes who are coming to us with things. So everything's going to be different every time. It's harder than just saying, oh, that was RDM, oh, that was VDM. Like there's layers to what goes on in RP, and it's just trying to maintain that integrity of how good the quality of it is, that to where it doesn't feel like this warrants a ticket versus this was just like a funny interaction that kind of went unfortunately wrong, or whatever the case.
One thing I'll bring up as well. So, in regards to warnings or infractions and punishments being removed over time, this isn't something we have outright outlined. It's again going to be staff's discretion. If it's been a year and someone has one warning, then maybe we'll consider just wiping that clean. But that's not been confirmed, so I don't want to make an official, you know, laying the line down statement on that. But if you've already received a warning, yes, it already goes into the system. Luckily, I don't think there's actually anyone right now who has outstanding more than one warning, so it would have been no different to the previous system. So there's no looming like we weren't aware of this. Anyone who has one warning, it would be 1 out of 3, and then we will go into 10 bans. But yeah, as of right now, we don't have a planned cooldown for bans of like, oh, I've got a grace period and then I'm good again. Like, no. Again, this is very, very serious. If we just outright allow that, then we're allowing leniency, and that's just not going to fly here. It's genuinely disheartening to hear someone's experience ruined. So that's why, like I said, from now on, if someone's experience is ruined, you are ruining my experience. And I know Frost, or was it Favre, joked about Chaotic being in a ticket. If I have to ticket you for something, you fucked up. you probably, just to put it bluntly, I genuinely hope I don't have to hop in a ticket with anybody, because that shouldn't be my focus.
Which,
But
to also be clear again, the community is so far, even with little minor mistakes both on our end and any specific players, whatever, like it's been overwhelmingly positive. So again, please don't by any means feel like anything is targeted to you all. It's just to protect the vision of the city. So everything is great. If past stuff is past stuff, you move on, you make mistakes, and you learn from it. There's no need. We're all grown. We're all adults. This should be kind of almost self-explanatory at that point. So things happen. People fuck up, and it's on us to make sure we see that as, oh, that was genuine accidental versus, oh, you're clearly, whether it's taken OOC feelings towards someone into the city or whatever. Like, we can clearly tell when things are accidental versus intentional. So, and also for us to elaborate on that, if you do come to us with a ticket, we have very clear conversations. We try and be as professional and formal as possible. It's definitely not us being like, oh, staff thinks you did this, so boom. Like, no, we're putting ourselves in these players' shoes who are coming to us to see how they feel in these circumstances, because we don't want anyone's situation. And this is only the reason why we're doing this now, is because this is only going to get harder as a city, because more people are going to come around. That's new faces, that's new players, that's new storylines, new interactions. Like, it's ever changing as people are in here. So, we need to be the footprint of the community to make sure everything that's happening around us, we're all on the same page.
do you want to move on to the tickets now? Maybe get Favre to talk about that one. I know that's one he was pretty in depth on tickets.
Yeah, Favre?
What's up? Which part about tickets?
On the subject of utilizing tickets to help yourself and us.
Yeah. So tickets are really good help. Are we still talking about rule stuff and like
No,
that? Right?
no. Moving on to tickets.
You got me lost.
Imagine
in the
not paying
topics,
attention.
bro is fired. In the topics where it mentions utilizing tickets. Here, I'll open for this. So basically,
I'm so slow right
it's
now.
okay. He can. I'll tag you in
Right
2
now.
minutes. Yeah, I'll tag you.
Bruh.
So basically, tickets in the Discord are very important. They help us solve a lot of problems. We have seen, although granted it hasn't happened a lot, we have seen tickets being misused in the way that they are being treated. So we just want to provide a little more insight and clarification on how tickets are supposed to be used. Because the more they're misused, the more staff doesn't get to rest. Is that enough, Fav? You want me to tag you in?
Also, with the
Yeah.
Me6 changes coming up, if you wanted to elaborate on
Yeah.
that.
So Me6, they're talking about doing some changes with tickets. They're going to be changing up the way tickets operate, which I think it'll be fine. We'll figure it out when that time comes. But also, they will be increasing the amount of tickets you can have in one category. So I know there's times where someone opens up like a, I don't know, miscellaneous ticket, and then they need to open up an additional miscellaneous ticket. The new system's going to allow us to open up more than 2 per category. So that's cool. And yeah, 100%. We still have the issue between quick support and tickets. A lot of those things can be answered in quick support. I'm a big fan of go ahead and go to quick support right away, because it might be something common that the community or staff member will jump in and be able to help you right away. And if it's something that we feel it should be a ticket, then we'll make a ticket. But that's all I really got. I mean, tickets help a lot. Make more tickets. Thank you.
I think the
Make
biggest
tickets
part
great
of
again.
it, and what we discussed with tickets and why we wanted to add it to the topic, is one of the biggest things we're seeing right now is people either going into staff members' channels while they're live and asking them about issues.
Yes.
Or
It drives me
DMing.
insane.
DMing staff members is another thing. Like, just to be transparent about this, there are days when it gets overwhelming with the amount of stuff we have to do and take care of, or just discuss. Things just get tiring. If a staff member just wants to back out of the Discord for the day and relax, and then they get a DM from someone that is just inappropriate, please
Well, not
do
only
not
that,
DM staff members. Do
yeah,
not just do that out of left field.
yeah. Also, like, there's days where I just, like, during the day I don't do stuff in the Discord at all, and you might get frustrated that that situation you're trying to fix isn't getting resolved. But that's why we gotta stay out of DMs and just make a ticket and stuff like that. Also, people's streams, I understand the whole, like, supporting each other and talking about what's going on. I know there's a lot of excitement and stuff like that, but they're not they're not ticket channels. They're not, hey, I'm stuck, my car's stuck, can you help me? That's not the place. Streams is not the place for that. It drives me
Yeah.
insane when people do that stuff. Even with Frost, I don't understand Frost is an owner and stuff like that, but make a ticket. That's why he has a staff team. Let him skirt around, you know.
Which
Yeah,
it has gotten
yeah.
better over time. Like people,
Yeah.
but even then, but I will say, just speaking for other streamers, who have this, like, you know, people still want to be surprised with what's going on in RP. There's no need for you to be in a chat and while you're also in city and then potentially talking about stuff that your character's doing or about to do. Like, there's still elements of RP and surprises that the streamer also wants to be in on, and not already knowing information without knowing it, because it's just a damper on blurring the lines of, you now just told a streamer something that obviously they're not going to utilize for their character, but now if that streamer interacts with you in city, like, they're already, the surprise is spoiled, you know, whatever the situation is. Like, keep as much close to the chest as possible with your characters. Be in streams, you know, converse with what the streamer's doing, but leave whatever your characters or your stuff, just, you know, let it be a surprise. Keep it to yourself.
Streamers
and, you know, you
want to
can
be surprised. Everyone likes the element of surprise in RP.
Just
and
like
it's hard, and we get
myself.
where you're excited. You know, it's perfectly fine to talk about past stuff that has happened, because obviously everyone's already in on it. But, you know, there's a lot more streamers that are coming in, a lot more eyes, and the most important of this is, remember, you are a reflection of the community. If you're seen doing something that's just like, why are they doing that, or like both in chat, it's a reflection on everyone here. So, you know,
Well,
it's important. You go ahead.
just I just want to make sure we're not getting off the topic of the tickets.
Yeah.
And just want to bring up again the need to go into a streamer's chat. I understand, like, if something's not getting fixed, if you're not getting a response to something and you need help in the middle of a scene, it might be desperate. But straight up, our response time right now to issues is very fast. A lot of cities that I've been in take a good amount of time. I've had to wait 3 days for a response to a support ticket before. We get back to people very quick and try what we can to help them out. If you don't get a response to a ticket, just bear that in mind, that we respond very quickly. So if we're not responding, it's not that we're being slow, it's that we're working at a normal pace by that point. We're in overdrive right now. We make sure that everything gets treated as soon as it pops up, because internally we do not like tickets piling up. We try to open them and close them as quick as we can, and make sure that everything is resolved within that ticket. But again, if you see that Frost is streaming, you know, we're basically, for the most part, all streamers here. If the whole staff team, for example, are streaming and there's no one available to help you with your issue, just keep it in the ticket and just be patient. I know it might be frustrating and it might not sound nice to hear, but you might just have to fly out for the night. If it really is a bug that is preventing your RP that bad, you might just have to fly out and wait for it to be addressed. It sucks, but that's the reality. It's also the reality if you go into a store and maybe you see the shelves have been duplicated, or maybe you fell over and the AI doc didn't help you. Sometimes in 5M, jank just happens and you just have to accept that. There are things that don't warrant tickets or quick support. Sometimes, and the more you play 5M, you'll get used to it and understand it a lot better. You just realize that sometimes jank happens, right? So the AI doc not working here and there, or for example, again, it could be an item that's duplicated in the road. Just fly out, fly back in. If it doesn't fix, it might just be jank, and it might just pass up on the next server reset.
I'd also like to chime in. What he just said is also very rare. Rarely, if at all streamers or all staff is streaming or like actively busy. And even then, Farva has taken time out of his streams and in general to respond to people. So the chances of none of us responding to you all are very slim, and most likely will never happen, especially once we get Ryan Chaotic up to speed to like be there whenever they can be. So very, very low chances of that ever actually happening. But once again, utilize tickets. Do not be scared to come to us. Do not reach out to anyone specific because you think one person will answer different than another. We're all in communication with each other. There's just come tickets. Just do tickets. As simple as, with anything that's warranted, whether it's player situations, RP situations, create a ticket. We want things to be resolved in a very efficient manner. So
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I'll also want to clear up in case anyone's confused about it on the subject of maybe fearing that a staff member is going to treat your report different to another staff member. So when someone claims your ticket, like if Frost was to put in a ticket and I claim it, it's going to say Epic Energy claim this ticket. That doesn't mean I'm that person who's dealing with that ticket. It might be that I'm the one initiating dealing with that situation, but we have a staff chat. It could be that I just can't be bothered. I ping another staff member to take care of it. Whoever claims the ticket isn't who's in charge of that ticket. Every staff member sees every ticket that's opened. So if you've got a problem with a certain staff member and they open your ticket and you're like, oh God, it's them, just know that like other staff members might just cut in and you know, give their take on something or try to help you at the same time. It's literally it's all hands on deck when an issue pops up. That's why we don't have it locked to one staff member per ticket. We see everything.
Also,
Ooh.
to chime in with that, like don't request specific people just because you have a like reputation with them too, because
yeah,
you know, especially
Yeah.
like for me, I've already been asked a couple things and I don't know how to do anything yet. So like, you know, I know you're trying to support my coming onto the staff or whatever, but I don't know what's going on yet. So yeah, just don't be afraid to talk to all of us because we're in this together. So
Yeah, we don't do the whole like, oh yeah, only I'm allowed to be on this ticket. Like, no, all staff members can jump into any ticket at any time, and we thoroughly discuss every ticket. Like, for example, if I get a report about Frost or Farv or Rai, whoever breaking a rule, then what we typically do is I will look at the video, for example, Ryan might look at the video, and we will all collectively decide what we feel together. It is not just a case of Epic's got it out for me because I broke 2 rules outside the Afterlife bar once, so I'm screwed. No. At the end of the day, we will look at everything together and we will make a majority decision on what we feel transpired. So don't feel like you can't tick it because a certain person is going to claim it.
all right. Any last? Oh,
I
yes,
mean,
Farv. Yep.
Also with the tickets, you do we have? Let me hold on before I continue this statement. Give me 1 second. I wasn't prepared. I'm preparing right
All
now.
right. In the meantime, while you prepare,
we
remember
need to-
so you're good.
Yeah, I got it. I was just
Okay.
making sure we had it. So, when you are making a report of someone failing, either like failed RP, breaking a rule break, anything like that, try to get clips if possible. I'm not saying it's required, but it does help make decisions easier because there might be a situation where that person might not be in the wrong, and we don't want to punish them based off of just words. So I can okay. So if you guys need help with clipping, what's it called, like programs and stuff like that, get with me after town hall, and I can definitely help you guys set that up and stuff like that. But clips help. That way we get the full story and not just relying on. Not that we don't trust anyone, but you know, it's. Do you understand what I'm saying, Frost? Help me out here.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's
I
literally
would
there's.
recommend.
Go ahead.
I'd recommend Medal. If you guys cannot clip, if you're not a streamer, clips isn't just a concept invented for the sake of streaming. There are programs you can get. Medal is a very, very good clipping software. If you have AMD, you most likely have AMD Replay that comes with your GPU if you have the Adrenaline software, which is also free. And the NVIDIA app, which is also free if you have an NVIDIA card, also has Instant Replay or Shadow Play. I'm pretty sure it's just called Instant Replay now. But your graphics card will come with the clipping software, and if it doesn't, you can also get Medal, which is very good, or you can just record your sessions in OBS if you truly feel like it. But clips really help us with stuff because you saying that this person did XYZ is one thing, we can ticket that person, ask them what happened, and make our mind up. But it's really not the best way to operate. We'll do it if we have to, but ultimately a clip allows us to make our own mind up of what we see, because as cutthroat as it sounds rather, it doesn't really matter what the person ticketing thinks of what happened, so long as a rule break was not broken. Like, someone can ticket Farv and say that he RDM'd them, but if I look at the clip and they are antagonizing him and threatening him with a knife, and then he guns them down in response, and then there's like a scene where he runs, like, that's not a rule break, right? So it doesn't matter if the person reporting him at that point thinks it is. If it's not, I can clarify that. And so that's why clips are really important, because we don't ever want to misfire a punishment on someone.
And I think that's a good transition to the update in our rules, which we recommend everyone look at. You can go up to the rules section, and also we have it here because, again, we're trying to keep this an hour, but this was obviously important. We tried to update rules. Shout out to Chaotic for making it prettier. And we have tried to make things much more clear, which we already went over the strike system. But obviously, we'll go up to something that we've also noticed. And spoiler alert, I have actively been testing in real time to see how players respond, to see if we need to improve on RP decisions and interactions. And the answer, unfortunately, is we do. As a collective, this isn't, again, to anyone specific. This is all of us as a community to maintain good quality roleplay. And with that, if you want to scroll up to the fail RP section, which we have now added. Before we just said these were minor infractions, but now we have at the top here an entire list, and this may be adjusted, changed, added, etc. But this is what we felt was just good to start off with of what we consider fail RP. So again, this is all in the rules. Feel free to please go over it and just double check yourself just to make sure you're up to date with things. I'm not going to run through everything here, but you are able to do /report if you do have anything happening in game, and we get those reports immediately. So just that way, if you don't want to make a ticket immediately, you can get to us that way. So, but there's a fail RP section added now with a bunch of little things, and to tap into what the biggest thing we feel needs to be improving on, and that is where people interject themselves into scenes very illogically, and or it just doesn't make sense for their character, or it's borderline NVL, aka no value of life. And these are just things that it's inherent because things do get desensitized in GTA, but it makes it harder for police to do their job. It makes it harder for people to have much more intimate one-on-one situations or scenes. And to clarify, just to use this as a situation, a drive-by happened at Burger Shot, and mere minutes later, like 8 people flocked to the situation, which of course it's adrenaline. You want to see what's going on, but in the reality, that's so many like little moments sprinkled in here. There of borderline NVL, fail RP, etc., etc. So
It's a good segue into one of the new rules we have.
yes,
and just before we move into that, like one of the things I just want to let people know, especially I'll give you some behind the scenes here. We get a lot of applications coming through to the city. If I had a dime, first of all, I wouldn't, because I'm from the UK, but if I had a penny for every time I've seen an application where we basically ask someone, for example, what is the meaning of character burial? And their response is, I have to bury my character. All of the answers to every question are literally in these rules, and it's a dead giveaway instantly that the people that join are not reading the rules. And so I'm going to make a little blanket statement here, and I'm sorry if this rubs anyone the wrong way, but I would guess there is at least a solid amount of you who have not fully read our rules. Please, for your own safety and the other people in the cities, if you accidentally infract upon a rule, please go and reread our rules, because especially leading up to this town hall, we've added rules and reworded rules. Please read our rules. I'm going to make this very clear. These are recorded now, these town halls. If we have to ticket someone and they say, I didn't know the rules, that is not an excuse. So, yeah, there's just no excuse on that.
so we'll go through the updates. So fail RP is the newest one, and again, I want to clarify, these are here and these will be added or adjusted again based on what we feel is needed. But the big one we're seeing a lot is just people who run into situations because something big happened, and we get it, especially when it is quote unquote low pop. We understand you want to be in on the action, but there's logic that goes behind these things. Another good example is when Skirt was locked into the Bahamas bar. There was like 8 non-staff members that just pulled up to deal with the situation. You wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? There's just logic that goes behind things. Let people have their moment. Not everybody needs to be involved in everything. You'll get that information down the line, and we understand you want to be involved. We get it, but to help the surrounding of stuff, it gets very overwhelming when the entire city pulls up to a situation that their character inherently doesn't need to be a part of, and that's a segue to our new rule that we've added.
Well, just before that, real quick.
Yep.
I just want to just following up on what I mentioned about the applications, like Fav just sent me, these are the applications in City we've had so far. Out of 112 submissions, we've denied 22 of them. We're very serious about people reading the rules here. We do not just let anyone in here. There are streamers in here, they have to be protected. There are women in here, they have to be protected. There are people who it's their first time role-playing in here, they have to be protected. This goes directly in line with reading the rules. We'll get more into that soon. And also, I just want to make this clear, this also extends to minority groups, which I'm not going to go into detail on what that, encapsulates, but we all know we don't tolerate any of that here. That's why we deny any submissions if we feel those people might not be right for the city. It does not fly here. And just a real quick answer a question about what does /me abuse look like, because it is posted here about abusing /me as fail RP. One thing I've seen in another city before is someone puts me into the back of the car as their hostage. I say that I'm going to jump out the moving car. They are in the passenger seat in the front, and they /me, slides into the back and puts the seatbelt over you. That is an abuse of /me, because that literally makes absolutely no sense. Also, if you are constantly, like, maybe you're in the bar with Eric Yellowhand and you /me and you say, torso opens up and a laser gun comes out, and then you grab a laser gun and shoot me. Unless we've cleared that beforehand, that is fail RP. This is a direct abuse. So at least that's my view on it. It would be really awkward if now that was not the right way to describe
No,
it.
it's
But
been great, and that's the thing is a
yeah.
lot of this does not pertain to this community. We have overwhelmingly been great. And to quickly add on to this is we are going to bring back /escort and carry because we have faith that the community will not abuse them. If they do, your cheeks will get clapped. I'm just letting y'all know that now because we took them out because we're just so like burnt from previous cities, but we feel this will help kind of the flow of things a little bit better because the /nearby doesn't always work effectively because people need to accept it. So /escort and carry will be back. If you are caught abusing these, I'm not playing around with this. I'm gonna slap some cheeks. So, but it will be coming back.
All right, let
Yep.
me quickly, finally, because I've been delaying it. Let me go into that new rule. There is a new rule in here. Please read it. Spectating RP. This is basically where there is a scene that goes down. For example, let's use the shooting at Burger Shop, and 5 people rock up, and 15 minutes later they are still there. What are they doing there? They're just conversing in the parking lot. This is spectating RP. You're not pushing a scene forward by having a conversation with your friend at the scene of an active shooting. If you are a PD officer just standing there, hanging out, talking on radio instead of like putting down a scene to show that something happened here, this is spectating RP. It basically, what we also called it was keep it moving, which is just, again, you're in a scene, but just for the sake of bloat. You're not there to help it. You're just there to watch it, like you're watching on Twitch. We have a city that is low pop, and low pop gets worse when things aren't happening. That's why when there's just a space of, like, say there's 15 people online and 7 of them are all in one area just standing there shooting the shit instead of actually doing something with their characters, that becomes a problem. It doesn't mean that you can't do that. It just means that it should at least, at the very least, make sense. If there are 11 people inside of the mech shop and none of them are there to get work done on their car, then why are they in there? Right? This is stuff you need to ask yourself logically in character. So spectating RP is something that we're bringing in here because it's not something we see enforced in other servers, but it needs to be enforced here because we are seeing a rise in this too. And it's another rule that we want to protect.
And if there's real quick, if there's anything that needs to be added for clarification of questions, if you're not visually understanding what we're trying to say, then we can also reword this to better explain what it is we're trying to do rather than just vocally giving an example. So, because there are times it's perfectly fine if your character is somewhere, but again, it has to make sense for why you're doing it. The big thing is also not interjecting in things that wouldn't make sense to interject, especially if it is crime scene related or EMS related or anything where these jobs are trying to do their job and you're just kind of lingering around. Whether it's because you are just talking to somebody, but there's plenty of places to do that. You have homes, you have just alternate locations. Rye is ready to go on a yap. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because on the topic of like there's a shooting happening and you're all just shooting the shit outside, like you wouldn't do that in real life. You would go inside and hide. Like, why would you just continue to stand out in the street? And then to kind of like touch upon, somebody asked a question about like we see a birdie post about a shooting. Like, do we ignore that? Just don't roll up to the place. Like, why would you go to the place, the location of like you can interact with the posts and stuff like that, but don't go searching for the danger just because you want to get in on the RP. So just kind of reinforcing that's already been said, but
Yeah,
Barb,
no,
you're ready to go?
a great point.
With what?
Oh, I don't know. I just your mic was up, so I don't know if you're going. A big thing
no,
that,
no.
in relation to this, and it's mainly, and this is a big half and half situation, is because PD still, which we're actively trying to up the pop for PD, but PD still is very minimal in terms of, it's great that people are pulling their characters into natural like social interactions, but when it comes to them trying to do their job, there's only so many PD and so many things that they can be handling at once. So a lot of this typically does kind of go hand in hand with the amount of PD who are available and having to try and do their jobs. And again, it's very easy to get desensitized because you're in the GTA world, but just try and just be a little more thoughtful when it comes to, all right, does it make sense for me to just run into the danger because an explosion went off? So you're like, let me go see what happened. Like, it's fine. Just keep yourself at bay, keep yourself at a distance, and then let the RP marinate.
Yeah, real quick, are we moving on there? Does anyone else have anything?
Well, if we want to clarify on spectating, or hopefully, saying that, but again, if we need to reiterate via text to be more clear, please let us know what we could try and adjust so that way you all understand.
Try not to react with your excitement. A lot of times people hear like a big scene brewing, or like, for example, like Yellow Hand starting his scene in the courtroom, or Little Skirt sneaking into a garage of Bahama Mamas. Like, yeah, everyone wants to watch the entertainment and stuff like that, but for immersion, it just doesn't make sense for people to show up in areas where they shouldn't be. In a real courtroom, if someone's causing a scene, police would actually, make that. I guess they would clear the room out and get everybody out because whatever safety, and then you don't go to a bar and just walk behind the bar because you hear a commotion in the back room or whatever. That's all I got.
We'll say we're trying to hold your questions. We're just going to get through it, and then we'll have a little question segment, and then we'll be good to go. So, if you want to go down to the last point of RP that we added, Epic.
Nudity.
Well, nudity, and then I can't remember the I'm blanking on the word right now. The consent.
Consenting
I
RP.
didn't have anything to say on that part. That was, I think.
Well,
that
just that
was
we clarified it a little further in rules.
yeah, you can explain that. I'm fine.
So,
just on the
What about
subject
green
of-
zones?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
just
okay.
on just a quick, like 2-minute thing. Nudity. This mainly pertains to females. I don't think I've seen it on males. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am in the chat. Nudity in the city does exist for females. It is just part of females in 5M. Their arms obviously involve their chest just like males do, but obviously females have breasts. These show without warning. There is no be aware that this is going to be NSFW. If you're a streamer in the city and you have a female character, please be careful when making stuff because of Twitch's ruling on nudity. It's not something we provide a warning for in the city up until now, pretty much. So we just wanted to throw that out there. If you're making a female character, an outfit change, or going through the arms or even the legs, it does show nudity for women. So please, please, please be careful if you're a streamer and protect yourself. And on the subject of this, it goes into ERP. And basically, at the end of the day, nudity is not permitted because of the sake primarily of streamers and protecting them. So please be aware that we don't allow for nudity. So if someone's streaming and we see you running around with a nude character model and they report you for that, we will warn you for that. And it goes for anything else. Yeah, because I know that male peds, there is the like nude cultists. Please do not use nudity in the city because it will get streamers banned potentially. And if that happens, and in the event if I do see a streamer get banned because of someone, I will instantly permaban you for that. That will not be a warning. If someone loses their livelihood, you will lose your place in the city. And additionally, just to go a little further on that, is sexual acts. So Twitch is very, very, very strict on this sort of thing. I saw a clip in 5M once of 3 dudes who were just playing around and pretending to hump each other in a changing room, fully clothed, and that streamer got a temporary ban. Please, please, please be aware. I've actually committed this rule break myself when we first opened by alluding to potentially blowing a lawyer to help him get Eric Virgin out of trouble. And then I realized instantly after and alerted Frost that we need to be careful of that. He did what? Never mind. But basically, you need to be careful because Twitch can also enforce bans for this as well because they deem it as sexual implication on sexual acts. Please don't do this. It's not because we don't find it funny. In some cases, we just outright don't, but there can be times where it can add to a scene and the comedy of a scene. But for the sake of streamers and their safety, please don't do this. And if you are going to do this, make sure you clear it with that person you're going to do it with beforehand, even if it's as a joke, and make sure they're not streaming. Just please protect the streamers in our city. It's very important. And yeah, that's all for me, unless staff have something to chime in on that.
Can
Yeah,
we
if-
kind of just add? Oh, go ahead, Farva.
I was gonna say, if you guys are gonna do like any type of consenting at all in the city, please make a ticket so it's on record and staff is fully aware of what's going on.
Yeah, please. And then right,
We can add people to tickets. So if there needs to be 5 of you in one ticket, we can make that happen. Just let us know. Sorry, continue on to talking.
Yeah, so just to like on the subject of like protecting the streamers, just be careful of your language use as well. There's quite a few things. It's mostly like, of course, don't use like any racial slurs or slurs in general, anything like that, but also like sometimes just, sexual comments and stuff like that. Can, if you focus on it too much, like Twitch can snipe you for that kind of thing. So just, yeah, the C word and stuff like that. Just be very mindful. Just assume, just because you are aware that, whoever you're RPing with, just be very, very careful, like to make note of whether or not they're streaming. I don't know. I kind of rambling
No,
on this, but I think
you're
it's really
fine.
important. Yeah, because there are some banned terms. Just make yourself very familiar with Twitch's banned words, banned terms, and stuff like that. And again, like the more we focus on like a subject that's not necessarily good to talk about on stream, the more likely, chat's gonna derail and you could get in a lot of trouble for that. So
We
Yeah,
are
and-
also
and-
going to on the back end going to work on trying to figure out that list and put it all into a document in the rules as well.
Yeah, and
Eventually.
just to elaborate on what Rai said, we understand as well that things can mean different things where you are for most like cuss words, like the C word, for example, for those of you who aren't aware. In the UK, which is where I'm at, the C word is on the same level as most typical cuss words. I'll say the F word, and I'm not referring to the slur, I'm referring to the cuss word. I think you know what I mean. But the C word is on the same level as that over here. It doesn't have the meaning it does in the US, which someone brought to my attention a long time ago. So that's just an example of things can mean different things elsewhere, and a cuss word might not seem as offensive to someone like me as it does in the US, where it's like a very misogynistic slur and actually banned on Twitch. So, like Rai said, and it's an excellent point, please just bring yourself up to date with the banned terms on Twitch. And we are probably just going to make this a hard rule sooner rather than later because we do have a lot of streamers in the city. And in a way, it does suck for players to have to learn the rules of Twitch to join this city. But GTA RP is one of the most live streamed things going right now. And so it's important that people joining know how to protect streamers. But yeah, just very, very important.
Yeah, to tack on, basically treat, which I know sounds weird in the grand scheme, but treat any interaction as if somebody is recording you. Because chances are somebody could be recording and or streaming because, again, we're tying this back into hopefully a lot of you all downloading Metal after this. Everything should essentially be body cammed so that way there is proof of any type of situation that goes down. Not that you're using it, but just keep that in mind when it comes to if I should say something to this person or like how I'm interacting with someone in game. And it's, if you don't think it's a good idea, just don't do it. Because there's a lot more implications that could stem from that.
See, we're
So-
running out of time. We might want to go over rules
Yeah,
and
yeah,
wrap it up.
yeah. So the last
Um,
couple, we'll go back up to, we did more clarification on consensual RP. Epic will scroll to that right now. So we're not going to read everything out, but we just added a little bit more explanation for things because we haven't had unfortunate situations where ourselves, even we found it was a little lackluster in terms of clarity when we've dealt with past tickets. So we're just, again, we kind of brought this up to date a little bit more. Granted, you know, everything's been fine overall. The community has been great, but consenting has been updated, as well as our green zone section, which we've tried to clarify a little bit more, which is
Might be-
basically
might be
green
further up.
zones. It's further up. Green zones basically just means places where we do not want a big amount of hostile RP, aka like serious conflict of people fighting, shooting, etc. So that way these scenes can be kind of a lot more laxed and let people in these spaces do their job. And it's mainly, you know, typically EMS, PD, etc. So,
Yeah, just to touch on green zones as well, it is down to staff discretion to protect against light infractions. Like, for example, if Eric Virgin is very, very clearly just in a rivalry with an officer at PD and is insulting him and maybe spits at him with /me, and the officer responds by backhanding him, we're not going to warn someone for that. What a green zone violation is basically hard violence. Like, for example, you're in your cell, you tell an officer that I slept with your mum, right? And you haven't cleared that beforehand in a ticket that he's going to do what he does next, and then he guns you down. He will get warned for that, right? That's RDM in a green zone, especially. So he would get a warning for that. So it's not that you can't, you know, punch a friend in a hospital, or you can't push someone down a flight of stairs in PD if is Randy Jackson here, the lawyer, shoved down the stairs at PD by Sturdy Legs. Green zone violations just mean please don't go GTA 5 mode and start nuking people in those zones.
Alrighty. So we figured, you know, we try to run through again. We're trying to condense this, but now this is the question time from you all. Hopefully you all sat on them. Of course, it's fine if you have questions from things that were discussed 45 minutes ago, but now it's on you all. Hopefully we got clear to everyone what we're trying to do with the city, what we're trying to maintain in the city. And we just remember this, everyone is a reflection of the city. And we want to make sure you all are bringing your best when you're in here. Do not bring personal emotions into your characters. Do not bring everything that's happening with your characters should be character driven. It should not be anything outside of RP. Whether you're feeling some type of way, if you're not in a good mood and you come in and you're just being an asshole to people and your character isn't normally like that, you can play that off, but do not blur the reality of what you're doing within the game. You know, it's you're acting, you're role playing. Do what your character is meant to do, make decisions based on those actions, and it'll be great. So, hands up time if you want to speak. Remember, this is being recorded, so if you would like to speak, come on up and we'll bring you on up. Mia,
hear me?
hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Yes. Howdy.
So I have a
MIA.
question. MIA. So earlier you guys were talking about being at like scenes or like areas like I hang out at Burger Shot a lot, mostly because I work there, but
Mhm.
if I'm like off the clock just vibing, because I honestly I would do that IRL. I used to
Okay.
do that IRL, know how creepy it sounds. Um
I say it's
but-
fine. Don't
oh,
do it behind the counter without
Okay.
being like on duty
On
/ like in
behind it.
uniform. Like kind of, you know, you can, you know, chill where like the social space in Burger Shot would be, you know,
Okay.
rather than where like employees would be doing their job.
Yeah, no, the
So-
other thing about that though is so sometimes I do like I have a 1-year-old.
Okay.
So sometimes he'll wake up and sometimes I have to dip somewhere to just hide. Like, am I allowed to like just kind of like go behind the counter and just go hide in the bathroom?
Yeah, anywhere. Yeah, I mean, if
Okay.
out of scene, out of
I
mind, you know,
just want to
it's
I just want to make sure because I don't want to like, oh hey, there's people at the counter and Mia's just walking in to the behind the counter to go to the back of the bathroom.
right. Well, so I mean, well, luckily in Burger Shot, the bathroom is up front, but you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just out of sight, out of mind. It's more so of, especially when it comes to businesses, like, you know, it's the same reason why I hate when in previous cities, I'd go to a mechanic shop and there's like people wearing masks and like not in a uniform at all. It's just like, oh hey, I'll fix your car. It's like, who are you? Like, what is this? Like, so
no,
it's
I
so it's just trying to keep the immersion of the visual immersion of
yeah.
like making some sense with the decisions of any of
Yeah.
us at the end of the day.
And
So
just
yeah,
speaking of my kid, just a heads up, if I suddenly like just stop talking or I go into my head, it's literally because my kid's screaming.
it's
And
totally
I have
fine.
to
It
I
happens. There's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
Also,
what
Uh,
slash me
another-
is for too. You know, if you have to
Mhm.
take 2 minutes AFK, you just do slash me in head, or that's where OOC is permitted is when you tell someone I'm going to be in head for a second. As long as
Okay.
you're not saying I got to deal with my kid or I got to go do the dishes, like you
Yeah.
just end it at I'm going to be in head for a moment.
yeah, the
People know
easiest
what that
way
is.
I
That's
have
an
to deal
RP
with my
term.
thoughts or something,
Yeah.
or like I have demons in my head or yada yada.
I've been trying to be like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be like 20 minutes.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah,
So
okay. I just wanted to clarify and clear that up.
Yeah.
With the like, cause like say like Hunter or Dudley are just like vibing, they're not on the clock at the mechanic shop, or you're vibing at your arcade,
right.
but you're not on shift. Like that's as normal. That's fine.
Yeah, it's I mean, it fits, but like I said, it's more so of the visual appeal of okay, like if you're not on duty, you're just sitting back there, just like like yeah, just chill where like the social space portion of that would be,
Yeah.
So that's all.
And then the other thing you mentioned about like when Skirt was at Bahama Mamas,
Mhm.
and like me and like it was cool that me and Benny were going back there because Benny wanted to show me
Right.
the VIP, but like
Mhm.
you're talking about like everybody else that ran back
Yeah,
there
it
like, oh
was.
my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Okay,
it's
I just
again,
wanna
it's
clarify
fine
that I
because
wasn't.
yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Again, we weren't attacking anybody specific with
No,
bringing
I
up
know you weren't,
specific
but I just wanted to
situations.
clarify I didn't do anything.
Yeah, no,
crazy.
we trust me, we know. Benny, even Benny in person was just like, oh, I was showing this person around. They were new. No, it's the classic case of I turn around and there's 4 non-employees somehow for some reason in the back of a business, like just to see what's going on. It's just
Yeah.
again, we know people want to be in on the action, but if you wouldn't do that IRL in any capacity. And of course, there is the blurred line of realism IRL versus in game. Like we get it,
Mhm.
not everything is. There's so many shenanigans going on. We understand not everything is, but there's still things where your character should be grounded into not doing certain things based on the situation at hand.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I guess
Oh,
just
thank
the
you.
stage.
Thank you.
All right.
All
we got
right.
Jahan next.
Keep your hand up. We'll scroll down the chat.
Yep. Keep it track.
Young Han, hello.
Well. Look who it is. I'm just
Howdy.
kidding.
What can
Yeah.
we do?
Thanks
What you got?
for making me go next because I have to go to work after this.
All right. What's up, buddy?
But just one thing I've noticed within City when responding to a robbery, I kind of want to bring this up as bikes are way too OP to get away from the police.
I hate
And
bikes.
yeah. So I kind of want to request to make this an actual rule that they cannot use bikes unless like previously like requested in a ticket or whatever.
I'll say
Like-
ahead of time now. Granted, this should obviously be addressed sooner, but I want a lot more both civs against PD and also how PD handle things. I want to be much more clear and addressed down the line, because there are just a lot of little things that can be improved when it comes to like COV Crim RP. So, but yeah, I hate bikes. I hate how abusable they are, etc., etc.
Yeah, they can get away so easily.
So
Like they take 3 corners and they're gone.
Right, that's why I hate it. And that's why I personally try and slow cars down so that way you can at least keep sight because of traffic and how clear it is. Like it's easy to just dip and bounce. We'll talk in the back end, and the main question would be, do we permit bikes to be used in crimes or not? Which would probably be the starting question, then we'll go from there. But yeah, so like I said, I hate bikes, and so I get you. So we'll talk about that, and in the meantime, we'll see what we can do from there.
Yeah, that was the only thing I really wanted to bring up to staff.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, because there's also the double edge of like, oh,
starting
you
to get a
can
problem.
run the plate, you can see who it is, blah blah blah, yada yada. But it's scenes. I want scenes to extend based off of something that doesn't last for more than 2 seconds. So
yeah, because every bike encounter I had with a robbery, like literally like 5 seconds of a chase and they're gone. Like I cannot find them.
yeah, I gotcha. So we'll talk about that in the back end.
Yeah, thank you.
Frost,
Far?
I'm bringing Mattis up next so he can hit those points we talked about with PD.
Okay. Yep. All right. Stand clear, people. PD, get your head in the game. No Troy Bolton. Where's my
Mhm.
man's at?
I invited him to speak. Mattis, you're slacking.
Incredible. Bro's fighting a fire right now.
I asked him if he could speak on it. He said, yeah.
Typical. This is why Crystal hasn't been found. It makes sense.
Makes so much. He's not even. He's not the detective.
Yeah, just bring someone else up.
All right. Yeah.
all
We'll
right.
get into
All
the
right.
time.
I'm gonna go to. Let's go to Hunter. Oh wait, did someone just? Oh, never mind. I'm slow. There we go. Hi, Hunter.
Hunter, hello. Howdy. Hello.
You know what?
Oh, sorry,
what?
I was muted.
Oh, there
I'm
you go.
sorry.
About to
You're
say,
good. How
about
are
to get
you?
Banned.
Pretty good. I have two questions.
Yes.
So one of them is, if I decide to buy a house now, would I still need to update it?
What do you mean?
Oh, as in you haven't had a house yet?
Yeah, I haven't had
No,
one.
we would just use the new housing system.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
you're good. Yeah, you're fine. It's just anybody who has an existing home is still on the old housing system if we haven't already because basically we need to sell the house or wipe it clean and then do the new housing system over it. So air quotes to anyone, if you have storage in your house, please place that elsewhere so that way it just doesn't get wiped, and then we'll convert you to the new housing system.
And my other, so I make it a habit not to watch anybody while I'm in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, like if there's a big scene going on, like if there's a drive-by or something, and I'm
Mhm.
there and bullets are flying my direction,
Mm-hmm.
is it okay to shoot back?
Of
course, not shoot to kill, but towards that direction.
I would say that, I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag, because if it's not in relation to, I guess it would depend on the time and place, right? Like if you're beefing with someone and they do it at your house, then yes. If you're at a open establishment, I feel like other people can chime in. I feel like it wouldn't make sense for you to just start busting shots back, especially when you don't know what the situation is. You know what I mean?
I'd be hitting the ground.
I would say hit the ground and hide versus kind of wanting to be the response hero, or just the I don't give a heck, I'm just gonna start busting back. So I would say it comes down to the right time and place for where and why it's happening, if your character's involved, because if you haven't had beef with anybody and somebody's doing a drive-by at a place you just happen to be at, it has no relation to you per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, it wouldn't make sense naturally for you to just pop up and be like, I'm just gonna bust back. It'd be like, worry about yourself first, make sure you're safe, and then you can then take that and kind of roll with it. But if you are beefing with people down the line and you do feel it's in relation, it's a gray area at the end of the day. Because obviously the people in these cases, they're definitely not shooting to kill. It's definitely just to make a ruckus. You know what I mean? Just kind of stir up some shenanigans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would just say inherently make sure it's warranted for why you're deciding to do it. Because people tend to get a little gun happy and feel like because they have a gun on them that they're not necessarily unstoppable, but their fear of consequence just kind of goes out the window. So I would ask yourself, does it make sense for why I'm deciding to retaliate like this?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And other people can chime in. Again, that's just my initial gut take on that.
And then the other one's not really a question. It's more of a I'm very new to RP. I've never done it. I've watched hundreds of hours of other people doing it. But if you see me at the shop a lot, it's because I'm very nervous and I want to learn how to RP. So I stay in the shop because I feel like that's where I would get the most experience at.
That's fun, and that's great. And again, this is a community, and the reason why we have these town halls and discussions and open, talking in general, is we're aware. You make us aware of that, and we try and help assist with that. This is not a place where people are just everybody's coming together here. So this is a place where people should be helping each other out to maintain a very safe and fun space to do this. This should be a fun activity for people to come and spend their time doing. And now that we know that, if there's anything you need to make yourself feel more at home or more comfortable, just come to us and we'll do the best we can to help you out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and welcome aboard. I'm happy you decided to give us a try, and hopefully people are giving you some fun stuff to do. And even with that, if you want to talk further on kind of the gray areas of what it makes sense to shoot here, especially if you feel like your character would kind of be like, you know, a gun-toting, trigger-happy person, just come talk to us and we can kind of break down those situations on NVL, which stands for no value of life, versus, you know, being the hero versus like making sure your character is safe first, you know? Because even PD, if people are shooting at them first, they're not just going to bust back because they're PD. They want to make sure they're protecting themselves first, you know?
Yeah, I get
So,
that. 'Cause
especially
I
you
al-
being as a normal civilian, you 100% should be focusing on making sure you're not hurt more than anything. So,
Yeah, because I also don't want to get my gun taken away, so I'd probably run.
yeah. So
Yeah,
again, run and
and-
hide first, and then based on the situation at hand. Again, we can talk further into that later if you have any further questions on it.
All right, yeah, that's all. That's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you.
Let's say if we want to keep the time to
Yeah,
1:30,
we'll
maybe
speed it.
10
Yeah.
more minutes, so maybe
Yeah.
no
Alright,
further
we're gonna-
questions.
Well, we can bring them in because Rob said it's
Well, no,
nothing at
yeah,
Madison.
no, bring up the people we've got, but
Okay,
that's what I'm
alright.
saying. Don't accept any.
Yeah.
All right, Mattis,
right.
hit your points. This is your time to
All right.
shine.
All right, I am here. So I will real quick touch on what you were just talking about. So basically the way we're going to look at it, I mean, at least I would as a PD officer, is if you're not involved in the situation directly, don't then take it upon yourself to go in there with a gun, go gun blazing, and, you know, feel like you're going to be the hero. We don't want regular civilians to feel like they have to be heroes. I mean, it's one thing if you are defending your own life, or if you're, you know, somebody is threatening you with a weapon, something like that, that's understandable. But to like, oh, hey, I'm 20 feet away, they don't really see me, my friend's getting held up at gunpoint, I'm gonna go run over and try to, you know, be the hero. Well, if you get shot, you get shot, you know.
I will just quickly to interject there. If people do that, please mag dump them, because that is exactly what I've seen happen on countless
Yeah.
body cam videos. If you run into an active scene, especially like that was described with your gun out, I would expect you to get a belly full of lead. Like
Yep.
Literally.
I will not warn someone for RDM if that happens to you. If you run into an active scene with cops, you will get gunned down. I mean, that is just the reality of the situation, especially if you're brandishing a weapon at them. So,
Mattis, I also want you to hit on the concerns that you have from PD's perspective that we went
Yes,
over
the ones we
yesterday.
discussed. Please bring up, especially the phone calls.
Okay. So I'll start off with the phone calls. So basically, what I really want to do with PD is I really want to limit the personal phone calls going in. So what I'm talking about is, you know, you're friends with an officer, you know, we're busy out on other calls, but you kind of feel like you have an important situation. And I'm not saying it's not, you know, it may be a high priority situation, but at the same time, if we're dealing with one crime, we can't then drop everything to go deal with something else. You know, that's not fair to anybody in their RP. And so I don't want to see officers respond. I don't want to see people texting officers being like, hey, I got this guy over here. Could you come over here and arrest him? Or this guy's doing this over here. If you have an emergency or you would like to see an officer, you know, call 911 or text the services app.
You
That's really
you can call or text the services app, or you can do /911/911A, which stands for anonymous. If you don't want your name to pop up, and PD will get that dispatch, and they'll get to you when they can. Same with EMS is /311 or /311A. So
yes. So, you know, that's one thing I really want to see not really take place anymore. Also, hanging out at PD, you know, for no reason other than your friends there. I mean, I get it. We all want to hang out with our friends and stuff, but you know, we're finding more and more that officers are getting tied up because, you know, they'll show up to, you know, somewhere to deal with somebody and their problem or their, you know, their situation, and then somebody's coming up, well, oh, while you're here, and then next thing I know, I got an officer tied up for 3 hours dealing with, you know, 15 people that, you know, all in the same place when they should be separate scenes and separate different places and separate going ons. So we want to kind of try to like limit the strain.
Especially with
that-
low PD presence at the moment, which again is just a low pop / issue at the end of the day, and that's something we're actively working on to improve. So.
And so something they touched on earlier, I mean, not just ticketing in the server they want to see more, but we're going to start ticketing more as well. If we notice your car's parked in a jank spot, we'll write a ticket for you the first time. After that, you're going to get after so many tickets, you'll get your car towed, just like real life. So we're going to start doing that. Also, speed enforcement. So we're not really I've had a lot of people ask me about speed and stuff. So we're not really worried about your everyday driving. If we notice you ripping through red lights, that's when we're probably going to stop you. If we
Reckless
notice
driving.
you're driving on a sidewalk, we're going to stop you. It's all common sense.
Yeah, they also get dispatch pings, so which we told them if you see somebody popping up constantly on dispatch, jot those down, and when they do happen to catch you or come across you, you're gonna get fined heavily based off all that. So
yes, realize something. We with our with our license plate readers or even our MDT systems, we can put your plate in, and if we come across you, it'll let us know, and then we're just going to stop you if you have so many outstanding tickets and be like, hey, why are we getting all these reports? What's going on? So just be mindful of that.
Thank you, Mattis.
Absolutely.
all right,
Appreciate
anything
you.
else on the list
No,
that
I
you want to
think
clear
that's
that you've
pretty
been
good.
hitting? Okay.
Just one more thing I want to touch on real quick. So another thing I'm gonna touch on this with PD, especially like our officers currently that we have, is not that we want to, especially if a scene's really good, obviously don't want to pull officers out of that, but like for your more everyday just interactions that PD have, we want to try to limit those. So, if you're calling for, one issue, don't be like, oh, hey, while I have you here, because again, we're trying to limit that time on scene so they can get to other people in their scenes.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to hit on since we have PD on topic is for example, when you guys pull up to a scene that just had a shootout or drive-by or whatever like that, whatever the scene might be, you guys have barricades, you guys have ways to block traffic, you guys have ways to control who might be there. Start utilizing that. Take over the scene. I know there's only like 2, maybe 3 of you at a time, but you guys can make a big presence there by utilizing your tools more. So like putting granted we don't have like the yellow tape, but we have barricades. Don't allow people to come across. When they come across it, you guys can take them, arrest them for messing with the scene,
Obstruction, whatever the case.
Obstruction,
we want
exactly.
PD to feel
Lock
like they
the
can do their
scene down.
jobs. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so that is something we are going to start doing.
Police tape is hard. It's hard to bring in because it's typically through menus because it needs something to stick to.
Yeah.
So it kind of is what it is. The barricades are like the best thing to like bring in that's already in. We also even brought in a script that allows you to place and remove them like really fast. So it is obviously more construction-y, but unfortunately tape, just in terms of tape scripts, I've tried to find countless of them and they either are jank or whatever the case. It's whatever. So there's cones, there's barricades, and just various things like that. So at least utilize them enough to become a presence. So that's all it is. I'll try and find some good tape though down the line because I love police tape.
All right, I'm gonna move it on.
Yeah. Thank you, Mattis.
I'm gonna bring.
Yep.
What do you guys say? One more.
Whoever at least.
No. Anybody who's got a question, answer.
Yep. That was left. So I know Troy had their hand up at one point. Rob had their hand up.
Rob, I'm gonna bring Rob up real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll move. Is there how many? Hold on. Am I missing? Oh, Troy, and then we got.
All right, Rob. Hello.
G'day, I'm Rob, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Nice.
I would like to talk about 3 things real quick.
Okay.
First one is interactions with animals. Driving animals for a start in realism for Polar. What's the go?
we
cracked down on that a little bit last night. Oh, go ahead.
Yep.
It's all good.
Yeah, sorry. I was at the mech shop and I'm like, why is there a dog driving a pumpkin? I'm not trying to call it out, but like, it doesn't make sense for an animal to drive a vehicle. You need to have someone drive for you. You need to have some other ways to get around. if you're an animal, you're a stray animal, whatever it is, maybe walk across the map. It doesn't make sense for an animal to drive a vehicle. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because I spent literally 2 hours crossing the entire city.
No,
as a rat.
we cracked it. And again, it was we understand a lot of shenanigans are in the city and stuff, but there are for the most part our characters are very grounded, and we want the decisions other people see is to be very grounded, unless you come to staff specifically with like a wacky one-off situation or whatever the case. But no, we got that resolved. It was slightly misunderstanding, but everything's good now. But yeah,
I just wanted to make sure,
again.
like, I wasn't missing out on doing something with my my rat
No.
character
No.
and not spending 4 hours trying to cross town. You know.
Yeah.
And
No.
all you people that play dogs, stop shitting in my body shot.
But people can carry you as well. Skirt has kidnapped Barry. You can do /carry /nearby carry and stuff, and you can pick up the person. So people, and you can also hop in cars, obviously, since you've seen them driving. So people can, you can hop in as a passenger, and somebody can drive you around. So there are ways to get around.
Following from that with animals, had a situation yesterday. I'm not going to call out the person. I'm just because it is what it is. If you see someone running down the street with a dog, don't turn off the side of the street to purposely run them over. Like
Why?
it literally ruined my RP yesterday.
Wait, someone did that intentionally? That's RDM.
Yeah.
ticket it.
That's
But I
literally
cou-
that's
This
literally
is
RDM.
what we mean.
I couldn't see the person. I literally all I saw was the car. So
This is why recordings are great, because this person could have been desync, it could have been accidental completely, it could have been fully intentional. These are the moments, because your RP's ruined, somebody else's RP could be ruined. It's a trickle effect. We need to know about this. The fact that
all
we're
I
hearing
saw
about
was a
this
black
now
car coming
is
across
what this whole
it,
town hall is about. These need to be informed. We need to be informed so we can act on it. So it's
Well,
as simple as that. Don't let things fester up.
There's no way.
Yeah,
And
don't let things
this is-
fester up.
This is a good example on why we're nipping these things in the butt. Rob Rambo is brand new to RP. He's brand new to the city. Something like that could have made someone not interested and never come back to the city again. So even if it was an accident, if it wasn't an accident, that's why we need people making tickets. We don't want to lose people because someone else's mistake or intentional thing that they're doing there.
Yeah, there was nothing for me to put a ticket on for that because I didn't know who it was. So yeah,
Well, it's still coming
I
to
just
us.
thought-
It's
I just
allowing
thought I'd bring it up
staff.
So you guys
Yeah.
are aware.
And you'd be
It's-
shocked if you do /report. We can, believe it or not, probably catch who it was, even though it already after it happened, because we can see who was in the area in that moment.
Yeah.
/report
Yeah.
in city, staff will immediately see your location, all that stuff. So always
So
make a report.
again, this is exactly what I mean. Even if it just come to us, we need to be informed. So that way we can clear up the situation. We can cool down the situation, because a lot of people, believe it or not, shockingly enough, just let it sit in and let it fester, and they just don't come out with anything. And then little things here and there build up, and then they erupt. So we don't want that happening. So please
I'm all
come to
good.
us.
I just thought I'd bring it up so then you had it as an example. So
Right.
yeah. But yeah, that was Anyway, that was one of the things. Shoot, now I've forgotten what I was going to ask.
Yeah, you had one more in the chamber.
Oh, I've just placed a ticket because I realized I did it late. But with any side contracts during RP and that sort of thing, do you want those contracts presented to you before the RP happens, or is it okay if it just naturally happens, then to present it to you guys?
You say contracts?
So if
He made a
let's
ticket
say,
about it.
I'll give an example. Let's say there's a member that has a contract with a business,
Mhm.
and that has come up in the form of RP, where we're discussing with another member, and we weren't really prepared for it. It just kind of happened naturally. If there was any form of pre-thought on it, do you want us to lodge a ticket before we have that RP, or what would you like us to do?
I guess I would need more clarification on the situation at hand on what's
Okay, let's
happening,
say
because
private security.
okay. I mean,
I don't think he's trying to give out all the details in the public.
Okay,
There's a ticket on
okay,
it
that's
right
fine.
now.
I think we can handle it in the ticket. I
That's-
don't think
that's-
it's-
Yeah,
we'll
there's a
talk more
ticket.
in the
We'll
ticket.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
just
we
trying
got
to
it.
give examples for other people
Yeah.
because, like, I don't want to go outside the rules and stuff.
We
you know?
we don't want to police RP as much as possible. If things can be handled in RP and dealt with, etc., like all through character building and relations, that's totally fine. The only things we really need people to come to us for are very wacky encounters, very wacky characters, or wacky like
Consenting.
circumstances, and consent with like making sure we know what's about to happen for some situations. So,
Brilliant. Yeah, I just didn't want to go outside the rules with any RP. Like, if
Yeah.
we're supposed to present it to you guys before we even try and do something.
Yeah,
you know?
no, yeah, it's
But,
it's yeah, for sure. So, but
I'm gonna
please,
sit down now.
everyone, thank you so much. Everyone, please take that situation. You know, their RP was ruined. Granted, they're fine, and that happens. You can shake it off and move on. But we did not find out till just now. This is a clear example of please come to us. We want to make sure these things get resolved. We do not want people leaving frustrated or feeling like these things just happen when we're trying to stop that literally right now. So.
All right, I'm bringing next person in.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, there we go.
Troy, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm also wearing new headphones, so I don't sound like a craggly mess.
Okay.
Uh,
What can we do? What's going on?
So, I will mention that I've taken, for correct phrasing, the consideration of what staff has talked to me about. I've now taken steps as to no longer have the certain situations happen again. I've no longer having streams be on anywhere, so it helps me out a little bit with RP. But I will say though, from the events of the Troy getting his house shot up, and I will say I was a little bit upset because I cramped and I slipped and I hit my key that it crashed my entire PC, so I was not able to interact with anything that went on. Is there like a situation where I could play that off as besides just, oh, I just got a major head pop?
That's one of them
Also-
things where it's an unfortunate situation.
You just have to
and
let it
just move
happen.
on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just move on.
I mean, to be fair, and on yours, I don't know if it was you who took the picture, but there were pictures taken of the people potentially who did it and stuff. So luckily, you still had some stake in the situation. But a lot of the time, things happen. For example, Rye, who was in the car, who helped with the drive-by, their entire like stuff locked up, and they couldn't
Yeah.
even shoot. So things
Yeah.
happen in the moment, and you shake it off and just keep it moving. Really,
yeah,
it is what it is.
I accidentally hit the Z button for snooze on my keyboard, so it's just like everything instantly blacked out. So it did not look great, but I walk outside my house and I just see Ruby Fontaine just looking like she's holding up something, talking to a car, and I'm just like, oh great. As I'm about to walk back, I hit the key and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it just in the moment it is what it is. And that's a clear thing of you shake it off and just kind of get back to whatever. There's only so much you can do because you technically weren't really interacting, obviously, So
The only other
but
thing
yeah,
I
but
have
yeah,
question-
but yeah, what's up?
The only other question I have on is that I've talked to Rhino about it, but I wanted your guys' opinion too. Would it be wise for me to kind of write some notes down so it's because I have 3 characters now and I want to be able to differentiate what each one knows. Would it be helpful for that?
As long as they're not bleeding and information isn't spreading. This is a big reason why a lot of cities actually don't allow cops to have like crim characters, because they want to just straight up prevent any possible power gaming, metagaming, etc. So if you cannot handle multiple sources of information and you feel like it's going to affect things negatively in RP, whether it's unintentional meta or whatever the case, then you may need to take a step back and just focus on less if you're having trouble knowing who knows what or what you're getting involved with. So that's just a personal growth issue, trying to make sure you can maintain that properly is my response in the matter.
All right.
Anybody else can chime in on it. No,
I'm just gonna throw out there one last time for this isn't just for Troy, but this is for everyone. We updated the rules. They got prettied up, as Chaotic likes to call it. They're clear. If everyone could just take a moment, spend 10 minutes, read them all over once again. If you guys have any questions about anything that's from, especially with people being brand new, no question is a dumb question. We rather clear them up. And you guys can ask us in the Discord. We'll answer all your questions. So please take a moment, read them all, understand them, ask your questions. We don't want anyone getting in trouble because they didn't understand a rule that was there. So that's all I got, though.
Yes, we went way over. So if anything
I'll
else,
leave the stage for y'all can
all
get
right,
on with this.
Thank you. All right. Appreciate you, Troy. So yes, we went over what we wanted, but we want to make sure people were being heard and questions were being asked, and that we cleared this up as clear as possible. Because again, the community is here. You all are also a staple of it, and also the ones who are helping maintain these rules for other players around you all. We can't babysit everyone. We can't watch everyone at all times. So we need people to also kind of be the footnote and also the lead on these things to come to us. Please ticket. Please let us know when something is a little icky or just you feel like is ruining your situation, your RP, somebody else's RP. Please come to us. That is the big basis of this. Please, please, please come to us. So, thank you all so much. Epic, Farv, Chaotic, Rye. Anybody want to do some last chimes in?
Nothing from me. I mean, I guess the only thing to go over is a little Halloween costume contest coming up.
Yes. Yep. 2 minutes here. The haunted house that we have we plan on using for some RP. I recommend everyone try and get a little fun out of it while it's still around because it will be gone when November hits. Our very own Quark Beast is planning on a murder mystery there, so please get in touch with them soon whenever they get it all figured out. We're also going to be doing like a costume contest, and we're going to give the winner a juicy seasonal import potentially. We haven't figured everything out, but we want to utilize all the stuff we brought in. So be prepared and prepped for that coming up, as we want everyone to be as involved with as many RP things as possible. So
Yeah, and that
last
will
far, what's
probably
up?
take place on Frost's Switch channel.
Yes.
We discussed having his chat vote on the best costumes, and maybe the winner gets a free thing from the shop.
All right, Far, what's up?
I'm just gonna put this out there. If you guys ever or any channel like I don't know, RP appreciation or clips or photo album, and you notice your question or your messages disappearing, that's me deleting them. Please limit what is if you're RP appreciation, make your post. We don't need a reply in there. Use reactions. It shows in each channel just to react to all the clips, react all that. If you guys want to talk about it, bring it to general chat, bring it to the roleplay chat. I'm trying to keep channels not cluttered up. One more, and I'm also going to mention out there, we still have that. We moved character development from the forums into its own channel. Utilize that to help your character develop. If you have questions or you're stuck or you're at a moment where you don't know what direction to go, there's a lot of people that will chime in and help you guys with that. That's all I have for now.
All right. 2 minutes, Trip. We're kicking you if it's quicker. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
What do you have real fast?
All right. So I just wanted to bring up with EMS. EMS has a lot of downtime. If you guys are injured in any kind of way, you can still do the /311 to have us come out. You don't have to be down for us to come up to you to help you out. It just gives us a little bit more RP as well, because it kind of can get boring and we can burn out quickly if no one is going down, which is good, but also a bad thing at the same time for EMS. Just wanted to bring that up.
Yep. Perfect. Yep. Utilize these things. Same thing with /help if you're down if EMS isn't around.
Yep.
For the AI doc. All right.
All right,
We have gone way over time. Thank you, Mattis. I'm sorry. We tried to keep it to an hour. We're still pushing 2. This was important. But thank you all so much. And we appreciate you all. Hopefully this was a very helpful thing for a lot of new faces. Hopefully y'all feel better going into RP. And because again, we are a community and we're all in this space together. We want as much fun and content and fun interactions and memorable stories to come out of this. So we have to maintain ourselves to make sure the RP stays as quality as possible. So please just be immersive. Please be logical with your actions. And please report us with anything, even if it feels minor. We still need to know about it so we can make sure things go better moving forward. So any last words, staff?
You're all banned.
Thank you.
Everyone's
Perfect.
banned right this second.
Beautiful.
Yep.
But
Just
thank
so
you all
everyone's
so much. Remember, some more Halloween shenanigans. Everything will be back to normal once November hits. Of course, the Halloween update with all the aliens and invasion and stuff will be gone. The AOP is still the city primarily, which means obviously we want to keep things condensed. But we do have some fun stuff coming up in November. Some new adjustments are happening and some new storylines. So thank you all so much.
Yeah, the only hold on, break your back.
Break your kneecaps.
Only one more thing I gotta say. It is gonna take me a while both in character as Yellow Hand and out of character to get rid of the zoom in, I will need to shut the server into maintenance at the end of the month again. I'll make a ping in the announcement channel when I gotta do that. Please wish me luck and pray that I don't blow the server up. Thank you.
Banned.
Yes.
Everyone's
Alright.
banned. That's that's it.
The city is in
Rye,
shambles.
Chaotic, any last words from you guys? I know this is your guys' first town hall and stuff like that, but please chime in on
quit.
anything.
Good.
Bye.
Be good, or you have to deal with me.
There we go.
That's
Incredible. Thank you all so
Speech!
much taking your time out of your night to be here. I know it's late. Hop back in the city now. Go have a good time. Hopefully you feel a lot better with this.
Read the rules.
Read the
Read
rules.
the rules.
Please read the rules.
I
Even
literally
again,
rewrote them.
yes, please read them. Please understand them. Please take them in and come to us with any questions if you feel something could be clearer and everything. We want you all to feel good and safe being here. So thank
New
you.
Player's Guide. There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Made by Dano.
Yes.
Well,
So thank you all so much. Have a great night. We will see you all again soon. We try to have one town hall a month, so we won't be having one at the end of the month. But obviously we'll ping about it when it is. Thank you all so much for being here. Spread the word, get your friends in, have some great stories and storylines that come out of it. So thank you. I love you all. Town hall dismissed.
I love you guys. Bye.
all right, Epic. Epic, you know what to do, right?
See how long I can last before everyone dips.
You know the routine.
I never pull out. I'm here until the day.
Everyone go spam party gifts in general chat.
Damn, we really gonna sit here till the morning? Alright, fuck you guys.